Hi everyone, so as Tonic Studios birthday week continues, I do have this die set, the Memories to Cherish, complete My Memory Book die set to share with you guys. So Tonic did send this over, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you're to purchase items to those links. So, I have not seen this, just other than, taking it out of the package here. So let's open this up and see if the trend continues from like last year's memory album and the way they make them. They sell out because it's like a huge set all in one in here, and it'll tell you there. Contains every die you need to create stunning My Memory books. Includes dies to create leaves, layers, tags, spines, tabs, sentiments, and even a waterfall mechanism. What? Oh, that's gonna be so cool. So it has 42 dies. Feels very weighty, but comes in this cool, storage pouch. It has, oh, I thought these were going to be on there. Your magnetic mat, of course, really nice to have. And as you can see here, we have our books. It looks like you can make them in different sizes. Of course, a lot of times what happens is you have these layering pieces that you can make a book out of on their own, or use them as mat layers and all that kind of stuff. So let's check this out, you guys. Oh, cute. Excuse me, I keep misspeaking. It's like a little folder. When I was going to open it up, I thought it was sheets. But just real quick on the back, just taking a little peek here, and it shows you all these pieces. And let's see, this is what I want to know. Largest die size is 6 3/4 by 10 1/4 inches. Includes a gorgeous waterfall mechanism, full instructions inside. Oh my goodness, look at, I know you maybe can't tell from the, oh my god, these are huge. Wow, so I read to you how big the largest die is, but let's just look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's metal to metal like 10 1/2, and metal to metal here is 7 1/8. I want to see what that said again, just to see. Yeah, I mean, what it's saying here, I think, is what it's going to cut. So the metal itself is what I just, the numbers I just gave you. My goodness, and okay, so again, similar to the memory book albums that they make, or have, it leaves this edge where there's no cut line. You see that? This outer die? I mean, there are just tons of dies on here and tons of layers. Look at this layer and look at this one. Okay, well anyway, so this doesn't cut, so that you can make it a book that has however many pages, whatever width, or whatever you want for your spine. Do you want to create the hinges with these, extra pieces of paper that are going to be hanging out? Do you want to cut them off? There's just lots of ways to play with it. But look at this, the next layer. Look at the edging on that. It has like embossing, and this one cuts its own layer, and it has like dotting and embossing, and then again another page, right? What you would consider a page one. So basically page one, page one, page one, but honestly you can make these into pages too. Just depends on what size you want, and you can just stick them onto the spine. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Ooh, I like the spine already. Just I noticed something about it that's going to be really great. So again, it echoes the same. The emboss layer, the layer with the dots and embossing, emboss layer, dots and embossing. Oh, look at this little one! Oh my gosh, with the same thing in the emboss layer, the one with the dots and embossing, we have an embossed little like plaque that says, "All you need is love," and then this fun one here, "On this day." It's the words themselves, nice and delicate, with a shadow layer, a background layer. The reason I said this is a really cool, or I like this spine, is because it's already cut on the corner here. So a lot of times if you make your own spine, or you might have another spine die, it's basically the same, right? And then at the end, if you want it to look a little nicer when you go to add it to your book, you kind of divot it out like that. So it's already done for you, which is really great. Of course, you can continue increasing the size of the spine, add many pages, whatever it is you want. You're going to keep repeating this, but at the end you have that. So that's really cool. In here it has My Memory Book hints and tips, creating the waterfall page, and then how to do that. And over here, creating a shortcut gatefold page. Just fun ways to use the dies, basically. Really, really cute. So again, they're just kind of going over how to make those pages where they fold over each other. And we'll go over making a basic book, of course. We're going to want to know that. So I don't know how long this video will be. I might have to follow up with the waterfall, or follow up, yeah, probably with the waterfall, because this kind of thing we can do as we're working. And then this one, again, makes a page, has the outer with the embossing, the dotting and the embossing. And then this one has a one last matte layer that doesn't have embossing or anything like that. Over here, I believe this is probably the waterfall mechanism, the one you use for that, because you can see it scores, which is generally what you do with the waterfall, because you push up and pull it down. It kind of, I don't know, moves on its own that way. We have like a little tag, we have like a buckle, we have a layer for the tag. I want to say this says something, or memories, sorry, to Cherish. Really pretty and stylized with the outer shadow. All kinds of cute little pieces. These little guys cut themselves out, and then it has like a little heart in the center and a little embossing. I love you, a heart, on this day. A moment in time. Again, these look like little plaques. They're so cute because they're going to do the embossing, but they're their own little cutout, you know. You can layer them on here, wherever you want, of course. Me and you. Let's see here. Days to remember. That's an embossed layer that you can kind of place wherever you want, really, but it's nested within this little piece here, which maybe makes like a little, yeah, I was gonna say it's something. It's for the waterfall page. I was gonna say shadow layer for some reason. No. Home is with you, and believe in yourself. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some paper and we will just, get started. Guys, I think for today's project, and then we'll do the waterfall, like I said, separately. I'm going to use maybe a mid-size die set size. I do want to show you the difference between this one and this one because they're both very big dies, but I don't know if you can see. This one's just a little bit smaller. It's this outer line right here. Than this guy. So you definitely have lots of layering capability, lots of sizes of books. Actually, I measure that outer one for you. I can measure this one, and I'll measure on the cut lines just so you guys have an idea. So this is like 6.5. The book would be, and then to the spine edge, if you want to count that, actually it should be here, by almost 10. It's like 9 3/4. So on that die set, on this one, the outer pieces, the one we're probably going to use today, is 5.5. And by 6.5, I would suppose. And the little guy in the inside here would be, well, actually that's not even the smallest one, that's the next smallest one. Just over 4 inches by about just under 5 inches. And the smallest little one, that is the cutest thing, you guys. Oh my gosh, to make a tag out of that, it would be really cute. So, like a little tag book even. 2 5/8, I would say, by like 3 1/4. So those are all the different like sizes of books, basically. And then that big guy, right, which we measured at the beginning. But I think today I'm going to use, let me get this out, there we go. We'll put this to the side for right now, so we're going to use that. This size, right? Let's do that. So we're going to need several of this, and we're going to need a couple of spines. So, you can make your books however you like. Of course, the tips that are in there are like for the extra things you might want to make, but for the basic book, it's kind of similar every time. I actually just hauled these things. These are items that I just picked up from Tonic there, and I thought, you know what, let's do that. Brown craft card. I have some pearled vellum, gold vellum, and pearled silver. I thought maybe for some accent pieces. Of course, I'll always bring out some like gold pieces, so we can play with like the little embossed pieces. And Mariposa Moments is a really, really pretty paper pack, and I think this is going to be gorgeous. Maybe I'll accent with some black. Yes, that'd be pretty, huh? The brown, black, and then this. So, we're not going to talk about these layers quite yet, but let's talk about our basic stuff. So, I do have more of this, but there are 10 sheets in here, and depending on how many pages you want to put in your book, that's going to dictate how many pieces of paper you need. But each one of these spines makes 2 pages. So basically a spine works, it goes like this. You're going to fold it, score it up and down, and then a spine piece again up and down. And so each of these up and downs is going to hold a page for you, or however you want to do it. So I'll probably do again a 4-page book like we like to do. So that means front and back. There's going to be 8 pages plus a front cover and a back cover. So I'm going to cut this out twice. And funny enough, with this notch out, it's not going to be as important in the way I make these memory books sometimes. It just depends on your style or what you're planning on doing, but it has that, so that's fine. I need 2 of those. And then for what I like to do, so since this isn't cut, you can make a spine, you can cut it right off, whatever it is that you need. So this is like a multi-use die, because if you put it right on the edge, you're going to get a page that is just like this, right? But I do need a spine to come around our memory album. So what I'm going to do for this one, and really the spaces in here are probably 1/4 inch. Let me see. Little spine areas. Yeah, it's just over 1/4 inch. So I'm not going to worry about this too much until the end. But what we're going to do is leave ourselves at least 1 inch. I'm going to say maybe 1.5 inches, because I need that to be the spine that comes around, at least the way I'm going to do it. Okay, you can do however you like, of course. And I'm going to put it up here so we don't waste paper. And I'm probably going to run this through the tangerine, but if you need to cut it down smaller for a smaller machine, you can definitely do that. Your paper. What I'm going to do is get some washi. Let me see here. Sorry guys, I'm getting a new roll started. And I'm going to tape that down. Again, leaving this space, at least for this one. And let me check and make sure if that's even enough space that I want. Maybe a little bit over. We don't want to end up cutting it and then be like, oh, I should have had more. So let's just move that over. And I'll run this through and then I'll show you pretty much how I'm going to do the rest of them. Does this one fit right here? Yes, it does. Alright, I'm going to put it right there. Like I said, I need 2 of these, and I'm taping them just so they don't move. So the second one I'll probably get from like this section. But I'll be right back. So we have this guy. And we should have this guy over here. And this one, just to release it from my paper, I'm going to go ahead and just cut away. And you can take it to your paper trimmer. The reason I say paper trimmer, not guillotine, is because you really just need to cut this little area, and I don't know how you're going to do that with a guillotine, right? So with this guy, I'm just going to eyeball this straight up. And this one too, and hopefully it's pretty straight. We can straighten it out later. Not too bad. So that's going to be basically our front cover with a piece of spine that's going to attach to the back cover. And so to finish this part up, I'm just going to cut another one of these guys. And of course I'm always just saving my paper in case I can run something else through. So I'll run this guy through to get a second spine. And I'll be right back. And so now we have our 2 spines. And that'll give us 4 pages. Just depends on how you like to use your spines or what you like to do with them. Now, with the other pages, I'm just going to put this to the side because I still have some paper here that I can use, so do not get rid of that. The rest of the pages are the same die, right? And this is what I was saying, you can make your books really honestly any size you want, because any of these will do the same thing. If you want to add a spine afterwards, you can still add a spine piece, even though this one has, you know, an area that doesn't cut. With any of the other ones, you can just work it out. Now, this is a little bit bigger, so if I put it here, I probably won't be able to get another one on here, but you can use it for something else, right? Your papers. What we can do is line it up completely on the edge, but then that means you need to come back later and cut this little piece off. Or, if you're a very good eye, you can bring this right to the edge of your paper already. I think I'm going to go this way, just so I can put it in my machine and not worry about it. You can just line this up already right on the very edge. I think you're going to end up having to cut some off anyway, so it's not a big deal. If you just want to put it down like this, that's fine. For each page. Now, I said I'm going to need 8. We already have this one cut. So for the inside pages, we need front and backs, 4, that's 8. I still need one to cover the front, 9, 10, 11. I need 11 of these, okay? So I'm going to run this through to just show you what that looks like, but I'll be right back. And the reason I'm not too bummed out that obviously this size is going to leave quite a bit of your paper. If you use one of the larger ones, you're going to maximize your paper. It's because we're going to have lots of like half pockets and other fun things we're going to cut anyway, so not to worry. So you see this area? We're just basically going to take this to our trimmer or guillotine later and just cut that off. Okay, and then that's going to go into our spine. So I'll be right back with 10 more of these guys and we'll continue. Okay, so I have most of my pages cut. We have that one that has the length, right? That's going to be our our outside. We have our spines. I have these papers. You know what's so funny? As I was cutting, I'm like, man, I really eyeballed these really the same, because like every time I went to cut a pair of them, because I cut this little edge off, right, what's left from the die, they matched up perfectly. Look at that. And I wasn't, you know, I just eyeballed where I was placing the die, but apparently I was placing it the same place every time, because I'm just cutting 2 at a time, and they matched up really nicely. And I'm just looking at the very edge, but if I extended my, you know, I was just cutting 2 at a time, which, really great. Again, it's symmetrical. What I was going to mention, and I totally forgot, is that the craft cardstock, I don't know if you can see, has 2 different colors. Lighter kind of brown, I would say, more like a soft reddish brown. I don't know, because if you see, this one's more like brown, like beigey brown. Does that make sense? I don't know. But either way, I'm going to pair them up together like that. We're going to sandwich them like this, okay, for each page. And I'm going to keep this brown on the inside. And I don't know if you can see, it looks a little more speckled and just different, right, than the other side. So really nice that you can have that variation. But basically that's all I was showing you, so I guess I already showed you. But I'm going to cut this one off too. I was doing them in pairs, but then we have one left one, right? One left for the front cover or wherever, but it's by itself. So I'm just going to trim this one down. And I'll give you the measurement on that since we're working specifically with this one. And sorry, I can't get rid of this sticky tape that's stuck in my finger. I'll be right back. And while my trimmer is out, actually I have another thing. I went ahead and just made enough for 6 pages, plus the front and the back. For a couple of reasons. I just figure, you know, to get going on the tutorial, but also to show you can decrease this. You don't have to use it the way it is. And interestingly enough, we need, you know, the space. These guys usually overlap. I'm probably going to overlap them like this to get rid of that one little notch. And on the other side, we're not going to need this notch. But either way, you can just get rid of it however you want. But we do need to get rid of a whole section. So basically I'm going to cut this off. So where I have a space plus the up and down, right? Space, up and down, space, up and down, space. So I'm going to get rid of this section so I can get rid of that little notched out area because I'm not going to need it for this project. It just depends on how you like binding your stuff, if you need that little notch area or not. And, you know, I'm just trying to see if I'm cutting this straight. I can't even. I guess I am because I can tell from over here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm just getting rid of an up and down portion plus a space, okay? And so we're going to keep that, and then we'll layer these together, or we'll get rid of that. It just depends. You don't have to stick it together, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we can just get rid of that portion. But either way, let me clean up a little bit, and we'll put the main book together. Okay, so before anything, let's make our spine. So we just trim that down, and then we have these guys. And there's a space where it's larger, and then there's 2 areas that are smaller. So what you're going to do is, I'm folding on the 3rd line, 1, 2, 3, just because what's going to happen is this part right here actually is going to come up. So what you're trying to do is make these little areas that are like this. And this time I will use a bone folder. I know I hardly ever do that, but I do like to get these nice and crisp and as flat as we can. So it's going to be something like that. So flat, mountain, valley, whatever you want to call it. So it's flat here, up and down. Flat here, again, that's what's going to be touching the binding edge, you know, the spine of the book. Up and down. And the reason I'm not, you know, it's because I have to kind of find where that is, especially with this thick paper. Okay, there we go, there we go. Here we go. Just going to score it, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. That way you have an idea of what we're going for with flat and up and down, flat and up and down. Like I said, this one we can either connect or we don't have to, but flat, up and down, that's going to be one of the places where our pages hold on to. Flat against the spine, up and down. Flat against the spine again. And this time we're only going to have 3 pages inside, so flat again, right? That area that's flat, up and down, and then we got rid of the rest of what we didn't need. We did need another space at the end so that, you know, it's not right next to your front cover or your back cover, whatever this ends up being. So for this one's pretty easy. I'm just going to fold it down the center. And I always use a wet glue because I just feel it holds up longer over time, so whatever it is that you like, especially for the spine, you don't want that to come apart. It'll be super noticeable. So I'm going to take the time that it takes to hold on to a wet glue. Like I said, you can either just cut that piece away and then just continue with this one, or you can overlap them. And that's probably what I'll do. I'll just glue them together. But for now, what we need to do is glue together. Right, so in these little center pieces, you definitely want this glued all the way down to the spine edge. So I usually just fill them up with glue as much as I can get in there without being, you know, too overboard. And we're going to glue these together. And I just hold on to them, but if you want to put clippies or paper clip or something to help you hold that, definitely do that. But, you know, this is craft paper, so it wants to resist. It's very thick. So I'm going to glue that. I'm going to hold it together. And then on these guys, same thing. The ones that are pointing up, again, flat, up and down, flat, up and down. These guys, we're going to glue and glue. So you end up with something else like this, right? It'll be flat in the back, but they have these areas. So I'm going to take a moment to do that, and I'll be back. So I have little clips and things holding everything over here. I think we're probably ready. So we're going to bring what is either your front or the back. I like to keep it in the front because all we're going to do is score it. And there's actually a score line there already just from the die, the way it just kind of dug in there. I don't know if you can see this line right here. Literally, we're just gonna reinforce that. So I'm just gonna take that and then just do it again. And what the reason I say I like this for my front cover is because now the front cover looks nice and smooth, and there's no like, right, so there's no end of a paper or like an edge of a paper or anything like that. So this is a little bit different. It's whatever you like, however you like to build this up. Sometimes people like to do two, so the front and the back has this, so that when you overlap them together, let's say this is another one and it had a piece, you're just that much stronger in your spine, right? Because you're bringing this over and it's going to glue into here. So if you like to do that, go for it. This paper's plenty sturdy. I think we're good. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. I guess one other thing I should have mentioned, and I totally forgot about this, guys, I'm sorry, is that this is smaller than this. So we're just going to snip it away. Let's see when. All we're going to do to do that is maybe just flatten this out in a way that makes it easier to cut. So yeah, definitely if you want to do that ahead of time, that way you don't have to keep this whole thing glued. You know, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller actually, a little bit shorter than the spine length, just so that it's kind of tucked away a little bit. So if it's there and there, let's say like right here, and I'll cut the other one too. So obviously this is a little tougher because I glued everything already, but we should have done that ahead of time, guys, sorry. That looks good. I'm going to take a little bit more off, just so it's really tucked in there and not super noticeable. And I'll cut this one down to the same size. If you want yours the same size I did mine, I just measured they're 4 1/8. So 4 1/8 inches tall, you could have just cut it down at the beginning. And that would have actually gotten rid of these little corners if you don't need them. Anyway, I don't know why I keep talking about the corners. I was just like, ooh, that's cool. Because for the same reason that's cool, I'm going to show you, I'm going to get rid of them in this part too. So we're going to glue this here, and then this one, let me just make sure I have it right. It looks almost the same now, but this is the area that was doubled over. We're going to pop in here like that, right? And another thing I like to do, talking about little divots, is divot this away just a little bit so that when we bring our pages, it just sits in a little bit nicer. I was going to say more nicely, and I said nicer, kind of in a funny way. Okay, so just that and that. And before we move on, I'm not going to cut this or anything. The reason I'm doing it this way is because we don't have to do any math. If you do it this way, you don't have to do any math to see how long this should be or how wide it should be. And it's going to be perfectly tailored to what you have going on here. So I'm going to put that there, right against this, but not impeding it, right? We don't want it to block that. So again, I like to use a wet glue. Some people like to only glue one part of the spine and leave it free flowing. So let's say that's glued down, but then this has some flex. Whatever it is that you like for your spines, do that. For this one, I'm going to glue it down completely, and then I'll probably put something on the outside anyway, on this backside. So let's, like a decorative piece of paper. So let's do that, and then again making sure that's there. And then instead of sitting here and holding this by itself and then doing this one, I'm going to get this one ready. And again, open that up, and tons of glue. And then we'll trim away what we need to trim away from this piece, leaving ourselves a little glue tab. And we had to do no math, right? It'll probably end up being about a 3/4 inch space though. Maybe, oh no, bigger than that. Look at, you know why? Because these are wider this year, which is really nice. I like that. You can put any spine in here, guys. You can make your own if you want it still wider than this. Let's say you're really going to fill up your book and you know you want like 1/2 inch gaps. Then make your own spine that has 1/2 inch gaps. But these are pretty good. Nice and wide. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm just holding that. And I'm going to hold it here. I did not leave myself too much here, so I'll probably just leave it the way it is, to be honest. I am going to cut away a little bit, just like we like to divot, just so, maybe to there. You can do this after you score it. We do need to score it still, or before. I'm just doing it now. I'm going to let this set up. What I like to do with these guys is flatten them out one way, flatten them out the other way, just so that they're already like used to flexing, you know, one way or the other. If you leave them just kind of stiff later on, it's just like, ooh, okay, those are really stiff, you know. So I like to give them a little flex one way and the other so that they'll be more malleable, as you can see. That's pretty much ready. And just gonna get this again. And again, I'm just gonna line this up kind of where I divoted, just about there, so it's the same as this one, you know, real close to that paper there. And let me see if I can, the spine is 1 inch, it's probably almost 1.5 inches. It's a good spine. So I'm going to score right next to that. And that is pretty much the front of the book. The spine is in, and then we're just going to add the back of the book just like anything else. So I'll just grab 2 of these guys. And oh, one other thing. Do you want to close up your book? And I think I do. You know, I love that kind of thing. So I'm going to grab some ribbon, but first I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Why not? If you want the ribbon to run the whole behind the whole back, that's a different thing you would need to do. But for now, I'm just going to trap it in between the front and back covers. And of course, I always check it out from the front, just to make sure everything's nice and straight, right on that score line. Really hold it down so it glues together as one, looking real nice. Okay, let me grab some ribbon. I'll be right back. So I just have some ribbon here, and with that mariposa moments, I was like, ooh, even something burgundy like this would look really pretty because the colors are nice and rich. But I said I was gonna use black, and I think I'll stick with that. So I'm just gonna grab some black ribbon too, and I don't know, maybe like a foot on each side, just whatever you like, whatever you think is gonna look good. Excuse me, I think I cut about a foot for each side. And the side that's going to be on the outside, we can, ooh, dovetail. Should we dovetail it? Just something different? Okay, let's do that. So all I do is I fold it in half, kind of as nicely as I can do that. Give it like a little V-cut, little slant, and I end up with a little dovetail. Be careful. I always singe the ends, only if this is like a polyester-based type ribbon. If it's not, then don't do that because it'll just catch fire, and that's not great. So like cotton based ones would not work. I'll do the same thing for this one. Just a little detail. Not the biggest deal here, but it looks cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little tape to help me hold on to the ribbon. And then we're gonna glue them together because again, glue just works out much better. And I'm eyeballing this, but I guess what we can do is put this right here. You know, real quick while it's here, let me give you the measurement on this. It's 2, 4, 6, almost 6.5 inches. The page itself, by 2, 4, 5 by 5.5, just like pretty much the measurements I gave when I was using the ruler earlier. Let's say 2, another 2, like right here looks good to me. That's just kind of eyeballing this, and then I'll kind of bring it over this way, and I'll just close it like this and see kind of where that's at, and that way they'll be the same, or close to the same. Not the same there. Ooh. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, again, since this definitely has a side that's, you know, the right side. Either way, you're going to put the rough cut side in because that way it looks nice, the side that's facing you. I'm going to do this, and I'm literally going to do the same thing for the book pages and then for the front cover, of course. I always like to get the glue as close as I can to the edge. But let me see if I can kind of give it a little bit of a zhuzh since that bottom edge didn't quite get glued all the way to the bottom. Again, these are super symmetrical, so what I always do is I make sure the edges on the outside are lined up really well because that's what you're going to see first. And then, of course, up and down. And we can sit here and flatten that out for a little minute. I'll be right back. So that is basically our outer cover. Feeling sturdy, looking good, and then of course we're adding more matte layers, so this is going to be very, very sturdy. So we're taking 2 of these. Usually what I try to do is like the die end where the die was nice, you know, and beveled it there, and this is the cut end, and then this is the rough back there. What I like to do is try to match up the nice die ends, you know, where the die rounded it off, and put those towards the front. So on each one of these, we're just sandwiching these right here. And as I do that, I pay attention to how high they are so that everything's lined up and good. So these definitely glue all over. So if you're gonna put glue all over like this one, because obviously it's gonna touch the other one, you do want to put glue on that inner portion that's gonna be touching the inside, the spine. So this other one's not gonna have that glue if you don't put it on. So there's that. And we're going to put glue on this other side. We know the rest of it's going to be touching. So I always put plenty. I'll bring this guy over and line it up right here. And bring the other one. And you still have a minute to work with this, so I kind of line it up so I can feel it there touching really nicely. Again, I like to make sure the front is lined up. And before I really squeeze anything, I'll bring it this way. Make sure the book is flat, right? That the base of the book is touching nicely. And once I know that, I'll just sit here and massage that and keep it together. And that's it. And since I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe at this point, it'll dry or hold really quickly. It'll grab really quickly. But this is another reason why I don't care for using just like a tape runner, because it will definitely come away at the seam here, at where it comes together here. Just because there's room here, you know, it opens up, it's just a thing. So I'd rather use a wet glue. You can use a combination of both, of course. But look at that, and now it's nice and straight. Look at, you can seeing through, you don't see like the page like sticking out the top or anything else. And then here, perfect. Actually, it's inside it a little bit even, so that's really great. Okay, so I'll do page 2 and page 3 the exact same way. And I'll be right back. Okay, guys, look at that. Even with, you know, it's really nice with even the, you know, 3 pages. 4, of course, it'd be a little bit wider and all that to decorate. How cute. Okay, so basic book. What we're going to do, I think, is matte and layer it. There are different ways to matte and layer too, to make pockets and other things, but we're just going to matte and layer every single page, and then we'll do some fun things, you know. I think in the next video, that way it'll be the waterfall portion of it, and then just adding new pockets and things like that. But for this one, what we have are these guys. And again, I mean, you can matte and layer, like, let's say this guy, or just this one. Maybe you want to do a little matte and layer within there. Maybe you want to do like photo mats or whatever it is. But just so it's more basic this time here, I'm just going to... The vellum is for something else, so we're not going to use the vellum quite yet. Actually, maybe we will. Huh. Maybe some of the pages I'll use this pearl gold behind this, just to give it something a little bit different. So we can do that. Because every page does not have to be the same. Just because you matte and layered one way doesn't mean the next page has to be the exact same way, right? So what I'm going to do is cut 2 of these. For me, what I do like doing, though, is when I open it up, both pages basically would be the same. That's just kind of how I do it. But, you know, however you like. So I'm going to cut 2. I'm just going to cut several. Obviously, we need more than just 2, but in pairs, right? So this background, I'll cut this one, and I'll also cut it from this side. And I believe this paper... We can get both of them, yes. Just right there from this guy, okay? So from the one sheet, we can get 2. And then this one's even smaller than that one. But with this one, I'm going to cut from this beautiful Mariposa Moments papers. So I'm just going to cut whatever it is I like for my different matte layers from the pages. So if you think about it, you need, you know, for each one of these, you need 2, right? 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. And then for your front cover, of course, you're going to need something. And sometimes I like to do the back too. So whatever it is you want to do, cut that many. But I will be right back. You know, I have to share a good thing. Look how it cut and that beautiful embossing around the edge. So pretty. Okay, guys, I actually got all these guys cut down. I think I'll do some with the gold vellum in the background, some with the black. But I just want to appreciate this paper here. Oh my gosh. So I was looking at this one. I'm like, oh yeah, we can cut from that. It's so pretty with that big flower there. But then on the back side it has tags, and I'm like, ooh, I could use these, so I don't really want to cut too much into this, but of course you can cut whatever. I mean, we have these like postcard looking parts that, you know, if you cut it like right here, you can get a little bit of all that's going around there. So there's 2 on each page. On the back side, it has a different kind of little postcard, so I mean, if you want to cut that, oh, or even use a smaller mat, right? You can cut that really nicely. This is gorgeous. I mean, it's all gorgeous. So I'm just going to go through and see which ones I would like to cut from. Probably this one, because it's similar to that first one. And it does have even different, look how small the perspective is on this side compared to like this side. But you know, I kind of love like the look of like that big one. Probably put it in here somewhere. Okay, so I am going to take a moment. Actually, I probably should cut this one. And, you know, do some of, you know, whatever it is I'm going to pick out of here. But super pretty. And then it goes into blues even. I think I'm going to stay in the family of like the pinks and like these richer colors here. But really, really pretty paper pack. Okay, I'll be back. Oh, so fun. And then super easy because, you know, the pieces here, they're just layering. And I'm just kind of looking at it and thinking, what do I want, you know, framing it out with the die. This one's a little too much orange and pink for what I was going for, so I didn't choose those areas. Even though it's very, very pretty. But for this one, like, I'm going to pair this guy up with this one on one of the sheets, you know, one of the spreads there. Probably more like this, that way this runs into this before it goes there. You know, whatever it is. Okay, so, do you like to matte first off the page and then bring them to the page, or however you like? I think that's probably what I'll do, though. So, ooh, like these two, I kind of have them so that they're good to go together. And let me see, do I want that way or do I want it this way? Ooh, that looks prettier, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna take this. Oh, look at the back. I mean, the whole paperback is so pretty. You know, I'm going on and on about it, and I don't even know if it's available right now. Whatever is available, I always have it linked in the description box, so you'll know if it's there, if it's linked to the US and the UK site. And if you are in the US, you can purchase off of the UK site too. Obviously, it just takes a little bit longer. And then they have some different shipping and things because it's over there. Oh, how funny. That's my husband's last name, Hubbard. I just read the words there anyway. All right, let's put this here. And of course, nice sides of both facing, and I'll actually get a little bit of a close-up for you so you can see and appreciate the embossing. I know it's hard to tell because it's pattern paper. Maybe you can see the embossed layer there, and then all the little dots all across. So pretty. Okay, so that's one of them. I'll do the same thing for the other set, and then just show you really quick with the vellum, since we are going to have this behind. Is that upside down? No, that's how that one is. We'll leave this like that. We're just going to glue it down. So it's nice because that's going to be obviously behind this paper that you can't see through. So, and then when we stick this to our mat, to our book, excuse me, you won't see any of that behind there. So just lay that down. Do the same thing for this. I'm going to mat up all my different layers, okay? I'll be back. Guys, so I just kept those flat under kind of a weight here. So I'm going to have this on the front. It has that beautiful gold vellum, so that'll be on the front. And then, so the first page, I think I want it to go right into this black. And I'm going to save this for like the waterfall page because it's a little bit more plain, right? So I'm going to use this guy, I suppose. And we said we were going to do it like this, didn't we? Okay. And for this one, honestly, if you want to use a tape runner or that kind of thing, that's fine. Just for construction, I like for it to be something that's really stuck down. And that's going to stay up over time, right? So, but when you do use sticky stuff like this, you got to really pay attention. What I want to do first, let me see. How is it supposed to be layered? Okay, it's going to have like a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch all around. So I can start, let me hold this up so you can see it. If we were about there, that probably would be good. Yep, looks lovely. Okay, same thing with this side. Sorry guys, just gonna take a moment. I'll just do this one page and then of course I'll do the others off camera. Actually, I'll show you the next one because of the vellum, but it's not a big deal now because again, we have that paper on top to help cover the vellum. Look how pretty that is already. So pretty. Okay, and this one, we're gonna go gold. Now, these are a little more plain. Do that there. Well, you know what? It's not going to matter because that's just how it is. So we'll go with this one next. And we could use a wet glue on this too, whatever you like. I'm just being sure that I'm putting it behind the matte layer, right? So again, leaving like about 1/8 of an inch and applying that as straight as I can. I love leaving the vellum kind of loose because it's just, you know, the little edge. So cute. So I'll do the same thing, stick this one down, black pages, and then the rest of my vellum pages back here. So my final piece here on the front, I just use some wet glue. Now you can make something for the spine if you want to cover the spine. If you like for my look, maybe natural looks nice because it's a very natural looking book, but you can cover the spine, just, you know, measure it. At this point you would measure it with a ruler and then see how you know, your matte layer on that. I might still cover it later, we'll see. But that's the front. Of course we're going to cut some words, some die cut words and things like that. You can put a pocket on the front, you can do whatever you like. Of course there's lots of different ways to style this. So we have our blank canvas to play with, and that'll be in the next video. And so we have that. We're going to do the waterfall. How pretty. And the back, I just left it plain, but again, you can also mat that too. I just want to grab these. So I think this will be a good intro video. That way, when you get your set, you have a video just dedicated to the very basic design, the construction. Again, very simple. You can do whatever you like with these things. Again, you can make your own book that's just this size, right? Because if you just use that and just made the same book pages, use the binding, just make your own spine. I mean, there's like the spine part, not this binding part, of course. So in the next video, we'll just do some dressing up. Oh, look, I totally overlooked this. This is like those little clippies, like you can put it on your, like a photo or like a pull tab kind of thing. And then it even has layers for that too to decorate it. So the next one, if you can tell, like a lot of these little guys will fit over this little buckle or just on their own. I mean, they fit in this little spot. So that's pretty much what those are for. So we'll do all that, play with all those things with these little buckles in different ways and dress up our book. Maybe make some pockets, whatever else we might come up with. Like here, to create a shortcut gatefold page, which we've done in the past. We'll see. I might be already too far in because you're supposed to kind of nestle it in here, but maybe we'll do something like that. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Have fun with birthday week. I will have images come up. I'll have links in the description box, and then I will see you for part 2 very shortly. All right. Bye-bye.